Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Spin Cycle, and this is a special episode because this is my postmortem for 2016. Now, I'm not ranking the best albums of 2016, I'm ranking my favorite albums because music is subjective. It's really hard to basically say this is the best album of the year because it makes me feel good, but for someone else that could be something completely different. So, my postmortem is my favorite albums of 2016. This has been an interesting year for music. There have been some amazing albums. We've also seen some bands release long-awaited albums, and no, not Tool. We saw bands like Metallica, Walls of Jericho, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Opeth, who've been basically, it's been a few years since they've released anything. Plus a handful of some of my favorite bands, some of my classic favorite bands released some new albums, including Hatebreed, Deftones, Devil Driver, Volbeat. So there was a lot of great stuff that came out. But for everything that came out, I do have to pick something. So I'm picking my top 7 in no particular order except for number 1. Why 7, you ask? Because I can, damn it. Now, not all of them have been reviewed, but most of them have, and some of them I might still do a review for in the future. So first up, Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake, and the only American band on this list.
14 days and 14 lives, random victims of my way, 13 dead and lucky strike, so many more.
The opening title track is probably one of the most memorable and aggressive starts to an album in 2016. Testament as a band doesn't always get the respect they deserve as a thrash legend. I think they're just as good as any of the big four. In fact, they should probably kick Metallica out of the thrash metal four right now and put Testament in. I'm going to get some hate for that one. From start to finish, though, this is just pure heavy thrash metal. It is just relentless. Next up, Katatonia, The Fall of Hearts. This is a band that has fundamentally changed their signature sound over the years, but where they have succeeded recently, they focused that on their new album. Serac alone is a testament to their musicianship and the beauty of their doomy sound. Next up, Sabaton, The Last Stand.
Imperial force the fire, facing 500 samurai, surrounded and outnumbered 62.
Sabaton has not strayed far from the formula, but they execute their sound so well, and songs like Sparta and Last Dying Breath will become staples of their live show for years. As a complete album, it is one of the most enjoyable albums I heard in 2016. And then we have Lacuna Coil's Delirium.
Why don't you try? Why don't you stay with me without me gone?
Lacuna Coil is consistent even after significant changes to their lineup, and Delirium is another entry into their excellent catalog of gothic, dark music. House of Shame is one of the best opening tracks on an album all year, right up there with Testament's Brotherhood of the Snake, but it just sets off the whole album, which is just absolutely amazing. Next up, Heaven Shall Burn, Wanderer. This stands as one of the biggest surprise albums because it shows this excellent maturity from the band. It is a great overall album with the superb and memorable tracks throughout. Bring the War Home might have been one of the most relevant songs, especially for 2016. This is a band that just knows how to crush it, and they really matured their sound for this absolutely amazing, cohesive album. Next up, Omnium Gatherum, Grey Heavens. As a band, they're becoming one of my favorites very quickly because they have this melodic death metal expertise that shines in their music. And Grey Heavens is a solid addition to their catalog, especially for the more progressive elements that they're adding to their sound. Frontiers is one of my top 5 favorite songs of the year because it is such a crushing track. Now, before I get to my favorite album of the year, I do want to give a couple of honorable mentions because there were some other solid albums this year. Metallica's Hardwired to Self-Destruct, it's a mixed album, but overall it's pretty solid, and the more I listen to it, the more I enjoy it. Opeth's Sorceress, same thing, where it's a little bit mixed and I have to listen to it a little bit more, but even though it's not old Opeth, it's still quite impressive on its own. Deftones' Gore, it's a new direction for the band, but it's still quintessential Deftones. And then I've got 2 dark horses that I've really started to listen to more recently. Eifenemmer, their Memento Mori debut is just an awesome, crazy good album. And then Sonata Arctica, The Ninth Hour. That one, after seeing them live, I started listening to that album, and wow, just a beautiful album. So those are a few other albums that really did strike me but didn't quite make it into this list of 7. And so my number 1 pick, my favorite album of the year, Insomnium, Winter's Gate, obviously. It is really hard to argue against this magnum opus from one of my favorite bands in the world. As one 40-minute song, it captures every bit of essence Insomnium has built over the years and just perfects it. It's all there. It is one of the most complete and powerful albums I've heard in a long time. It might be one song, but it feels like an entire album. It's just all flows together. And I do have a soft spot for music that tells fantastical stories, and this one has an awesome story to go along with it. This was an epic gamble for the band, and I have nothing but praise for the result. My only complaint with it is it ended. Overall, this was a curious year for music, as there are only a few albums that really struck me from the beginning. Like the first listen, it just blew my mind. There are also so many more that I haven't had a chance to listen to, so my sampling is limited. But from what I've heard, it will be interesting to see how these bands continue to evolve for years to come. Each new album is just a stepping stone, and 2016 saw some strong ones. And especially with the events of 2016, we could get some wonderfully angry and aggressive music very soon. Here's hoping. But you tell me, what were your favorite albums of 2016? What would you recommend? What ones haven't I listened to yet? Let me know your thoughts, and also let me know if there's anything in 2017 that you're really looking forward to. And that does it for this episode of Spin Cycle, and I'll see you guys after the new year. Bye-bye. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Nice work. Good job. If you like what you saw, you can just go ahead and click that subscribe button for all videos past and future. You can also head over to my website and see all the other stuff that I do, including the books I've written. So go ahead, click stuff.